Hey, my name's Jonathan, and I'm a veteran.
Hi, my name is Daryl, and I'm a veteran.
My name is Chad, and I'm a veteran.
Hey, I'm Travis. I'm an Air Force veteran.
Hi, my name's Ashley, and I'm a veteran.
Well, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. My name's Carol Lee. You're watching Conversations with a Vet. Thank you, everybody, for showing up with us tonight. I have a wonderful guest waiting backstage. But first, I want to give a great big shout out to our friends over at Mind Overland. I've talked a few times about them in the past. And unfortunately, this last Veterans Day weekend, they were unable to have their major fundraiser in the Beartooth Mountains there in North Carolina because of Hurricane Helene. So they have planned, and this will be their major fundraiser to this point, and they have something planned, and they're teaming up with their friends from Static Line Brewing Company, and that's a veteran-owned business. They're going to host a special event on Armed Services Day. That's Saturday, May 17th, 2025, from 1 until whenever, and that's going to be in Sanford, North Carolina. So what do you get to expect? So they are having an overlanding car themed show. So you bring your rigs out, you show off your builds. They're going to have prizes awarded for various categories. They'll be posting some details at some point for that. To participate, it's a $10 donation per car. It is tax deductible, and every dollar they say goes towards supporting their mission of helping veterans reconnect through outdoor adventures. They're also going to be having a raffle, and that's put on by Asheville Vehicle Outfitters. They, I believe I met them a couple years ago, some great people, when we had gone to their Veterans Day benefit. So they also will be having a food truck on site for some wonderful food and beer. So they've got, again, it's a brewing company, Static Line Brewing. And again, that's at 1671 Buffalo Lake Road. It's going to be in Sanford, North Carolina, and it's going to be Saturday, May 17th, 2025. So please be sure to put that out there on your calendars. So great shout out, great people over there, Mind Overland. We love them all. So I just a little side note. So I have always wanted daffodils because I think they're really pretty. I see them all over the place in the spring, end of winter, beginning of spring, and they're just so beautiful. See them growing wild. And to my surprise, we bought a new place, and to my surprise, on either side of the front porch, there are 3 groups of these daffodils growing. And I never realized just how hardy they are. They have survived snow, freezing temperatures, downpours, 50-mile-an-hour winds, and they are still standing. I am just so amazed. So, if you don't have them, maybe take a look. If you like flowers, take a look. Daffodils are absolutely beautiful. So, all right. That's all I've got at the moment. And again, also to say that when we hit that 500 subscriber mark, we are going to be doing a giveaway. I've got several books right behind me that are veteran authored and signed. So make sure you are present to win. We'll have some other gifts as well that will be going out. So make sure, tell your friends, share, like, subscribe, and hit that notify bell so that you don't miss any content and conversations with our veterans. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my guest, Dave Weill. Hello. How are you today?
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for joining today. I'm really excited to have a conversation. So my question initially, we're going to bypass for just a minute because I'm curious. Do you like plants and flowers and things like that?
Yes, but I'm not one to grow them.
I did not grow these. They just popped up. They were like right there. I was so happy.
Oh yeah, I love to look at them, smell them, see them. But if you look at my backyard, big old, not one tree.
Oh, wow.
Got plants, trees, shrubs, all this. So I've got 4 children, and it's just a play ball, and it's nothing.
That makes sense. So, Jason, thank you tonight for being here. We appreciate you. He says thank you for your service and your conversation today, Dave.
You're welcome.
And Brooke, welcome. Thank you. We appreciate your support on the channel. And of course, I'm sure he appreciates you being here as well.
Oh, that's Brooke. Was that? I missed. That's my daughter.
That was her. So
she's on a cruise. She's on a cruise somewhere with her friends. So I just sent her the link you sent me. So I was surprised she jumped on that quick.
That's so cool. Thank you for taking your time out of your trip. Everybody, welcome. So I like to start off by asking the question about who Dave was as a child. What can you tell me about yourself when you were younger?
Well, grew up in Connecticut. Actually, do you remember the Sandy Hook event many years ago?
I do.
I actually went to that elementary school.
Wow.
As a kid.
Not during that time, was it?
No, I'm a lot older, but
okay. As I say,
just went to the same. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't going to say you were old, by the way, or that you looked old. That wasn't it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm 55. So grew up in Connecticut, just me, my mom, and my sister, and we grew up broke. People brought us stuff, and so my mom was a maid at that time, and we're on the town list, and so I didn't have a lot of extra stuff, if you know what I mean. But,
I do. And did you like school? What was school like for you?
So, Curly, I remember just being a great student and, no problems, anything. And when that Sandy Hook event happened, my mom had saved all my old report cards. And, back in the day, they were different than they are now. And I went back and read them. And there was these teachers' comments that were like, Dave was a little rambunctious, hard to pay attention, and all these things. I'm like, I don't remember any of that. So it was neat to go back and read those report cards from Sandy Hook. And I even reached out and made contact with 1 or 2 of the teachers on something.
Oh, that is so cool.
So that was neat.
And were you able to do any sports? Did you do anything?
So I wanted to play football. My mom wouldn't let me. And I think I could have been great. But so I ended up playing tennis in high school. Oh, and before I moved to Tennessee, played soccer. Loved playing soccer. In the 5th grade, moved from Connecticut to Tennessee. And they didn't know what soccer was then. So I had to give that sport up and take up tennis. It's not as popular. It wasn't as popular then as it is now.
Right. So, but that had to have helped you in your career decision, right? So did you ever think about joining or, going to college, or was it an immediate idea that you wanted to join the military?
Growing up, all my friends, they like playing Army, as a little. I had no desire to do that whatsoever. I'm like, that's boring. I wanted to play soccer or kickball. Never had one inclination to ever join the military, ever.
Right. So what made you decide that you wanted to join the military, and then specifically the branch that you chose?
Well, Carolee, I was about to graduate high school. And you remember, we grew up not having money or anything like that. My mom eventually became a nurse. So proud of her for that. But still didn't have a lot of extra money. I'm at home. This is in Tennessee now. Army recruiter called me up. He's like, hey, you want to join the military? I'm like, no. He's like, it'll help pay for college. I was like, okay. It joined the reserves. He said 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, it'll help pay for a lot of college. I'm a very practical person. So I'm like, okay. And I joined.
Okay. And then the branch that you joined?
Yeah, Army Reserves. I was in a MASH unit. Do you remember MASH on TV?
I do. And I can tell you, I waited. Everybody I knew waited with bated breath for that final episode.
So I was in a MASH unit. For those that don't know, it's Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. And the reality is when people that join now are very patriotic, they want to serve their country in light of everything going on. When I joined, there wasn't a whole lot going on. This was, 88. And I'm glad I served now. But honestly, when I joined, happy to serve my country, but it was just to help me pay for college.
Right. And that's okay, right? Everybody has a reason why they want to do it. Not everybody's doing it just out of sheer patriotism. Others do it just for that reason. And it's still, in my opinion, it's just fine because regardless, you're still serving your country and you're protecting us as the American people from everything, foreign, domestic, all that good stuff. So,
and I'm definitely glad I joined and served. Absolutely.
Well, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart for your service and your sacrifice. So what did your mom say when you told her that's what you wanted to do?
She wasn't opposed to it. And she was like, hey, she was always a big supporter of mine and was my biggest cheerleader growing up. So if I wanted to do it, she was like 100% proud of me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me about what it was like for you once you got to basic training. Like the moment you got off that bus or whatever,
Sure.
What was going through your head?
So one question you asked me a moment ago, I'll answer. You said, what career or what did I pick out to do in the military? I wasn't offered a lot of options. So I was a cook in the military.
Okay.
And I'll just point out, and my family and everybody watching knows, I hate cooking. My poor kids, I got 4 kids. All I ever made them growing up was eggs. How do you want your eggs? That's it. Quick and easy. I'm done. And so, but I'm a very practical person. And as crazy as this sounds, it's the truth. I thought, man, if I never get married one day, this will be a good skill to have. As warped thinking as that is, that's what was going through my head. So I went to, I was a cook.
So you were a cook in a MASH unit.
Yes. And yeah.
I can imagine, right, the scenes from the TV series, and they're all, in the chow hall, and they've got their tray and the bit, right, slopping it on. So before you actually start your MOS, again, what was it like for you the moment you got to basic training?
I was happy to be there. Didn't know what was going to happen. So one story, before I went to basic, I knew that, you're going to have to do push-ups and run. right? So me and my best friend, we're watching Rocky one night. This is a little bit before basic training, and we were so inspired. We drove down to the high school track. In preparation for basic training, we went and ran a mile, and it's like near probably close to midnight. That was my prep training for PT.
And how was that for you running a mile?
Yeah. So I was just excited, motivated. Now, the first time we had to run 2 miles of basic training at Fort Bliss, Texas, Carolee, it was awful. I could not run the 2 miles without stopping to rest. I mean, I'm about to fall over. I was kind of pudgy when I went to basic, and probably slid right in under the weight limits. I don't know. So, yeah, it was. Yeah.
But you made it.
I made it.
And that's a huge accomplishment. So you get there. I mean, was it different? Were they yelling at you? Were you like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? Why are they screaming at me?
No, I knew that was part of it, so that didn't really bother me,
Okay. All right.
So
what was it like? And
I got in trouble.
You got in
I'm
trouble.
sorry, I got in trouble. Not a lot, but I just couldn't help laughing and smiling all the time.
That'll do it.
Wow, private wow, drop. What's so? Yeah, so I had to learn how to keep a straight face for. Yeah.
So yes, so you get in trouble for that. I can imagine you. Yeah, I can absolutely envision you getting slayed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, boot camp. Now, specifically funny stories. I love hearing funny stories from boot camp. Do you have any you can recall?
Yeah, I got a lot. So here's one. So remember, Carolee, I grew up not having much money at all, right? So I would save my and you're not supposed to have money on you. And I would save my MREs, my meal ready to eat, and I would sell them instead of eating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You're not supposed to do this. And somebody told on me, I got caught, and I remember drill sergeant found out I had all this money. He's like, "Where's this money come from?" I got busted, and so one night, and then also I would steal, or not steal it, but I kept my orange from breakfast, and I would keep it, and I would eat that for lunch. So I got busted with my orange, and one night, drill sergeant, he was like, "All right, Weill, I need you to go out there and dig me a hole." And had to dig a big old hole, come back, report back to me. He's like, "All right, bury your orange." I had to go bury my orange, and yeah. Thought he was going to make me dig it back up, but he didn't. So anyway, I got busted selling my MREs, making extra money. That's all I cared about because I grew up broken. I knew money would make you happy, so that's what I thought anyway. So I got busted.
Oh goodness! And did they make the rest of the squad bay or have to do anything additional because of it, or
No, it was just me, thankfully.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
My family, we have this secret recipe for a cookie, and the cookies are just delicious. And my mom would send me these packages all through basic training of these special cookies. I mean, they're incredible. However, you had the day that you received them, they had to be gone that night. It's not like you could save them. As crazy as the cookies were so good, I was able to sell the crumbs at the bottom of the bag for like $10. And then I snuck to this is terrible, but I snuck to another barracks to hide the cookies so I didn't have to get rid of them all that one day. I never got caught for that, but yeah. I did that.
I'm surprised you had any left at the other barracks.
My mom sent me tons, and it was, yeah. So
That's
I
awesome.
would sell my cookie crumbs at basic training, and so this is painting a picture of Dave Weill here.
Oh my gosh.
Carolee, you have to give me your address. I'll have to mail you one of these cookies.
Oh, absolutely. We'll do that for sure. Because now I'm so piqued right now about my interest about your cookies. That sounds just amazing. So all right. So it sounds like you really you got yourself into a little bit of hot water. And was there an area within boot camp training that you enjoyed more than others?
I was always push-ups were no problem. The running was terrible. It was, yeah. I had a lot of area for growth in that area. It was running. That was for me. That was it. The running. That was just, yeah.
Now
I was gonna say I'd almost rather cook. That's not true, but it's close.
Oh, that's great. So, okay. So did you have to practice with firearms? Did you have to go through like CS gas training, any of that?
Oh yeah. So I forgot about the gas chamber. Yeah, thankfully we only had to do that once. So they put you in this big room. You can't see. It's like a metal box, I guess, shed. And they put you in there, and you have your mask on. They're burning this stuff, and then they make you take it off, seal your mask back up. But then they decide to do a little PT training, and you had to do jumping jacks and all this stuff to get you breathing hard. Then you have to take off your mask, and so you're inhaling this gas, and it feels like you can't breathe. You can breathe enough to just barely survive, I suppose, but you feel like you cannot breathe and you feel like you're dying. So before you go in this building, Carolee, all you hear is this banging on the metal walls, and you're like, what in the blazes are they doing in this building? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm next. And then you go in there. When you can't breathe, you realize what was going on is everybody's just going like this on the walls because I guess that's just a reaction when you think you're dying from lack of oxygen. Then before they let you out, the drill sergeant would ask you a question like, what's your social security number? And then you would have to say that before they let you out. They asked me what my number was on my weapon or something. And of course I forgot. I can't think. So I'm just sitting there dying. And they were like, they just let me out. Then you come out and you got snot oozing from your nose and your eyes. Like, don't touch your eyes. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
Interestingly,
it makes you put faith in your gas mask. So it was as miserable as it was for a reason. So
yeah, definitely a purpose in what they do. So my youngest Marine, that was one of his favorite parts was the gas chamber. I know. That's what I said. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, he loved that and he loved the rappelling. Those, and then of course, the marksmanship thing that was, he was doing that since he was 2. So, that was no big deal.
Right.
All right. So you graduate, I'm assuming. Okay.
I passed the 2-mile run in time. So I graduated.
Good news all around. And I can only imagine for graduation, was your mother able to attend?
No. We lived in Tennessee. My mom was in Tennessee. This was in Texas. So no.
Okay. What was it like for you getting that, or, having that knowledge that you are now a member of the armed forces?
Yeah, it was just a super proud moment. that I did this, I was able to survive and pass basic training. And I did lose quite a bit of weight, Carolee. So um, now I'm in shape for like the first time ever in my life. And yeah, exciting times.
Did you have an opportunity right after graduation to go home on leave before you
So
had to?
I'm in an Army Reserve unit. So
Hmm?
basic training and then went straight to AIT
Went
training.
right in. Okay.
And
All
then
right.
also point out, I joined, let's see, I left for basic training December 27th, 1988. So after high school that summer, then I went to one semester of college at East Tennessee State University. Then I left
Okay.
for basic and then the following fall, I went back to college.
Okay. All
So
right.
I missed the spring semester to do the basic and training.
Where was AIT located?
Fort Jackson.
Okay. And what was it like for you learning and going through that process? Now you've just graduated basic training. Now you're going through more training. What was that like for you?
Two words that come to mind is sleep deprived.
Really?
Oh my, yeah.
Were you just thankful that you were a reserve?
Say that again.
Were you just thankful at that time that you were just a reserve?
No, I was just thinking, some sleep would be nice. So training was there, but then because I was in the going to be serving in a MASH unit, which is medical, after Fort Jackson. Then I went to Fort Sam Houston to learn how to cook in a hospital setting, which basically was don't use salt.
And wash your hands first.
Yeah. Well, you do that anyway. So
what did they teach you to cook? Anything other than eggs?
I have no idea. I can't remember.
You blocked that out, didn't you?
I do remember this when I was at Fort Sam Houston. For some reason, I got chosen to do some special something or another, and we got to make a cake, learn how to bake, and I made this beautiful cake, but it tasted kind of funny, and I realized instead of three, I don't know, it might have been whatever it was salt. I used like
Instead of sugar.
I used salt. You're supposed to use like this little salt, and I used like 3 tablespoons or something. I got the spoons got mixed up. So I baked a cake that, yeah, it just tastes like salt.
So what did they say to that?
Yeah, they just didn't eat. Yeah, it was, yeah. Don't use so much salt next time.
But it looked pretty, right?
It's beautiful.
So see, you learn something, and if
Follow
life depended on,
directions. Yeah, follow directions.
you could do it
Yes.
if you had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wouldn't starve.
Yeah. I got one other memory.
Let's hear it.
I never used any tobacco or anything growing up, and my buddy gave me some chewing tobacco.
Oh no.
And it was all I could do to get back to my dorm. It was like, yeah. And it made me sick. So I remember this.
So are you still in contact with any of the service members you went through basic or AIT with?
No. It's been a few years since Art Powers. I remember him. So it's about time for another phone call.
Okay. Good. Always good
Not
to
regularly, no.
Okay.
I remember some of them.
But only one that you've talked to since?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So you get done with AIT, and when did you get to go home? And when was your mom able to see you?
So this was about, let me see, spring. It was around summer of 89.
Okay. Okay.
So I came back from basic and training sometime that summer.
Was she surprised at how much you thinned out, and um,
I don't think she was surprised, but
especially with all the cookies she sent you?
yeah, I was able to burn those off.
So what was it like for your schedule then, being in the Army Reserves?
I was 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, and so it really wasn't much.
Okay. At any point, did you have to deploy?
Yes. Well, I hadn't been home from basic too long, and remember, my mom was a maid, and she put herself through nursing school. So soon after I got back, I said, "Hey, Mom, do you want to join the Army?" And basically, I talked my mom into joining. And because she was a nurse, you could join at an older age. Well, I said, "Mom, they got a special boot camp for you old people."
Oh,
She was 40. Yeah, my perspectives. Look, I'm 55 now, so my perspectives changed. So I talked my mom into joining, Kirley.
that's incredible.
Yeah, so I got my mom to join, and yeah, and we're in the same unit.
No
She's a
way.
nurse, and she's a nurse, and I'm a cook.
Oh my gosh. That is a story in and of itself. I want to hear more of how that went.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Carolee. It took me over 30 years, but about a year and a half ago, I wrote a book. Can I show it up here?
Please. Yes.
It's called Deployed with My Mother.
That is,
That's me and my mom in Iraq.
oh my gosh.
And I have my good friend Tammy Chandler help me write that because I'm not a writing person.
That's
So that was
incredible.
That was me and my mom in Iraq, and I talked her into joining. And then shortly after Thanksgiving 90, our unit got activated, and we went to Desert Storm together.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And what was going through your head knowing your mom was going to be right out there?
What have I done? Some people say, "Oh, that must have been neat." And I'm like, no. Can you imagine taking your mom with you to war?
Right. Yeah, that's not fun. All you do is worry.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a parent, that's all I would be doing, even if I was still stateside, right? I mean, I know what it's like. I have two veteran sons. So yeah, definitely get it and understand. I would be worried sick just sitting here at the house, and have been.
Right.
So yeah. Oh my gosh. So, okay. So you're a cook in a MASH unit with your mom as a nurse in Iraq.
Yeah. And remember, I hate cooking.
Right. Point well taken.
Yeah.
But you're good with eggs.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys step off the plane. Now I'm sure at this point, or I'm assuming you guys get to have conversations, right? On the way there, on the way when you
No.
step off the plane.
No.
How did that go?
So do you remember I mentioned I grew up with just my mom and sister.
Okay.
I didn't see my dad a lot growing up. So, birthdays would come and go, never heard from him. No, not even a phone call. So growing up, it was, over the years, it was like bitterness. Even my own dad didn't care about me. And so that was just a sad growing up, not having your dad in your life. So
Yeah,
so
for
Carrie
sure.
Lee, we're at Fort Bragg, me and my mom. So funny story as I continue. I turned 21 at Fort Bragg. Okay.
Okay.
My mother, she makes the first, she's going to be gone off on some training on the day of my birthday, December 7th. She makes the first sergeant promise that he'll have the entire unit sing me happy birthday while we're in morning formation at Fort Bragg. And I'm like,
I love it. I love it.
yeah. So it's so embarrassing. We're training to go to war, and I got my unit singing me happy birthday. So, but just my mom, yeah. So that's one funny story my mom did. So anyway, we're at Fort Bragg, Carrie Lee, getting ready to deploy. Guess who I run into?
Your mom?
Any guesses? Anybody want to guess?
Who was it?
I'm waiting to see if anybody wants to type something here and see.
Anybody have a guess out there? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Dad. Jason says dad.
Where I don't see Jason. Yeah. Hey, Jason.
Hang on. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Jason. Yes. I run into my
Ding,
dad
ding, ding.
at Fort Bragg. My dad's in the military too.
No way.
Yeah. He lived like up in DC. I'm in Tennessee in a unit. My dad's in the military also.
Oh my gosh. Now, did he know
he's like
that your
lieutenant colonel? Huh?
did he know that your mom had also joined at that point?
Probably, I don't know. There was minimal contact, growing up and stuff. So,
Oh my gosh. This sounds like something you'd only see on daytime TV.
it gets more exciting, Carrie Lee. Are you ready?
Let's go.
So, my sister's 4 years younger. She's a senior in high school. Okay. So we had, because no matter how much your dad's been a disappointment in life, there's still this desire, I guess, deep down to have a relationship with your dad, right? So we're having a family reunion at Fort Bragg, just getting reconnected. Well, a few days before our unit gets deployed to go, my dad had too much to drink, alcohol, and he molested my sister.
No.
And she's a senior in high school. It was one night.
Oh no.
So it was like the next day or so, I asked her, I said, hey, I just had a sixth sense. And I just said, hey, did dad do something to you? And I could tell by the look in her eyes, something happened. So I uncovered this. So that night, tell my mom, get the MPs involved. The next day, Carrie Lee, I'm on a plane going off overseas. And my mom stayed behind for a week or so to clean up the mess.
Oh no.
So I was on the plane by myself, and it literally felt like going to two wars at the same time.
Yeah, that's oh my gosh. Did anything happen to him?
Yeah, I got kicked out of the Army.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Dishonorable discharge, and it was, so.
And
but the night that I found out, Carrie, you can only imagine I wanted to kill him.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So. And obviously, none of this is my plan. You can see my hat says not my plan. And that seems to be like the theme of my life, not my plan. That's why I had this hat made up in the shirt. Not my plan. It's, yeah.
And and I saw that, and I was going to ask about that. What it meant to you, and that makes perfect sense. So, how is your sister doing
now? And of course, this happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so, learned a long time ago that bitterness, they say, is like taking a poison pill and hoping the other person dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And in the Bible, it talks a lot about forgiveness, but it doesn't really tell you how to do it. There's not like do these 4 or 5 steps.
Right.
So it was like over many, many years for me. I knew I had to forgive him, even though he didn't ask for it. And my sister did the same, so you can live with yourself, or you're just going to die a bitter old person.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and
Exactly. So was she was she visiting there?
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, she
okay.
came up just to see us before we left. And
Okay.
excuse me, that's my 91-year-old mother-in-law. She's, I think she's lost. Trish, you got her? All right. Anyway, sorry.
So all right, so you get deployed first. So you're there a week
With the
later.
whole unit. With the whole unit. Then my mom came about a week later or so.
Okay. And you guys were able to reconnect there. Um, for you, when you first stepped off that plane, what was going through your head?
It's not. We landed in Saudi Arabia and it was raining. My first thought was, I didn't think it was supposed to rain in the desert. So that's my first thought.
That's a fair thought. So, all right. Now you go to Saudi Arabia, and then where do you go from there?
What was that sentence? I'm sorry.
You go to Saudi Arabia, and then where do you go from there?
So, some big warehouse, and shortly after we got there, first sergeant, we're notified, hey, we're getting ready to drop the first bomb. We're expecting nerve gas in retaliation.
Oh.
So, first sergeant just walked up the steps, took a pre-nerve agent tablet. So we knew we had to take ours. And I remember putting that in my mouth and literally thinking, I could be dead at any moment.
Wow. So your nerves, you're on high alert mentally, right?
Oh, well, you're just like, man, this could be it. I'm 21 and yeah.
And so did any of that occur?
No. So we never experienced nerve gas. So we first had to take nerve gas, and then the scud alarms would go off. We had our Patriot missiles. So every night the scud alarms go off. You put on your protective mask, put on your chemical suit, and this was just like constantly happening all the time. And we're just waiting for the worst. It never happened, thankfully. And thankfully for this war, compared to a lot of others, I don't say it was a nice one to be in, but it was the time that we thought that we could potentially be killed was a short period of time compared to what so many other people have experienced and are experiencing now. So
right.
For a brief period of time, it was nerve wracking.
Yeah. And you and I aren't that far off in age, and I definitely remember watching, and hearing about the Scud missiles and the Patriot missiles and nerve gas as well. There were just a lot of things that were happening all at once, it seemed like. And like you just hear about one thing and the next day it was something else, so it just seemed like it was just piling on. So, of course, us as civilians, we don't always hear what's really happening there and how everybody is faring that is deployed. So I'm very thankful, obviously, that you guys did okay. What was it like then? So your mom gets there. Did you guys get to spend much time at all together, or
every day? Every day.
Oh, okay, so she was. So
she's coming to the shower. I'm feeding my mom every day.
Yeah. Okay. And from there, how long were you guys there for?
I was there 6 months and 2 days.
Okay.
My mom most of the unit got to come home after about 5 months, and there was a small group that stayed behind for another month.
And you come back stateside. Did you have to deploy again?
No, just once.
Just the one time. What did that deployment do for you mentally? Um, as far as, did you feel more grown up? Did you feel more disciplined? Did you say, I never want to do that again? What was your thought when you made it back stateside?
One word, Carolee. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Perspective.
Good word.
That's it. And let me explain. I do have a picture here. While we were there, I don't know if everybody can see this, but this was while I got the little glare. This is after we did.
Look at that.
We drove a mobile Army surgical hospital. So we did drive around a little bit, but this is where we were located for the biggest part of the time. And so we were in the hospital taking care of people. And then after a while, our unit kind of turned into being like a humanitarian mission, just taking care of a lot of the citizens. Even the Iraqi people thought Hussein was just a nut job. And there was just a lot of sad stories. Babies, people died in the hospital.
That had to be really difficult.
Now, for my mom, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I wasn't working in the hospital. I just heard some of the stories. And so, but perspective, when I came back, I was in college for one semester, getting stressed out over a test or something like that. When I came back, it's like, what's the worst going to happen? I'm not getting shot at. I don't have to worry about nerve gas. If I fail this test, big deal. I might have to take the class again.
Right.
So when you compare things to, being shot or killed or thinking you could be dead in 5 minutes, it's all about just keeping things in perspective. So that's my biggest takeaway.
And that's such a great word because you tend to think about how it could be worse coming back. So
sure. And I thought when the war first started, Carolee, one of the first things I thought was, if I were to be killed, if I'm going to die tonight, I thought, now I didn't grow up going to church or at all when I lived in Connecticut. And then I went some because of my grandparents when I moved to Tennessee. But I thought, man, if I were to die, am I going to heaven? And I thought, I figured I'd give myself an 80% chance because I was mostly a good person. And so, but that was one of the first things I thought about, man, what's going to happen to me if I get killed? So.
Right. And then on top of that, you're still worried about your mom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
because everything's happening.
Yeah, the whole time we're over there. And I'm just like, I got to take care of my mom. Where is she sleeping tonight? It's, And I'm sure from her perspective, she was worried about her little baby. I was 21.
Of course. Of course. Because our babies, they're always babies to us, and it doesn't matter how old they are.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. How long were you in the reserves?
Signed up in 88, and then the last 2 years was like IRR. So my complete time was 88 to 96.
Okay. So 7 years. Does that sound right?
88, so close to it. 8 years.
Okay. Yeah. And the next question I have is, what, if any, resources did the Army provide for you when you separated?
The GI Bill, helping the money to help pay for school.
But they never explained what it would be like, trying to utilize your time and your MOS to get a civilian job, any of that? Did they ever talk about that?
No, and if they ever did, if it was something to do with cooking, I mentioned I hate cooking, and so I had no interest in doing anything that I did in the military to that. No,
pertaining to cooking.
no.
So what did you do when you separated? Did you already have a job planned out?
No, because I'm in college, so I crammed 4 years of college into 7 years.
You crammed it, did you?
Yeah. So I graduated East Tennessee State in 95. So I started in 88, and so time for leaving for basic. Then, because I'm in college taking classes, then I had to withdraw from all my classes during the fall of 90.
Yeah. What? Okay, so you start going and working on college degree, and was there any time after that you thought about what it was exactly you wanted to do with your life, like as far as employment?
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I do now. Are you ready?
Let's go.
I own a restaurant.
But you're not the cook. I
do cook some.
I'm so confused.
Hey, Carol, this is not my plan.
That is so awesome, Dave. Oh my gosh.
It's terrible. So, Carol, have you ever heard of Steak and Shake?
Yes.
So I own the Steak and Shake here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is right below Nashville.
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not. I made this a couple years ago. Excuse me.
I think I got it. Oh, there he is. I had to wait.
Years ago. Veterans Day free milkshake.
That is awesome. Okay, so I have to say, you are truly not far from me. And I think it was last year. And I want to think for Veterans Day, we went there.
To where?
It might have been Steak and Shake there.
In Murfreesboro?
Yeah.
We've met before?
No. But I had my youngest Marine with me. And he had wanted to see, so we just kind of went out and about and I think we ate there and then we left and then we stayed around and ended up going to dinner somewhere. And then that's when he decided he was going to ask about any kind of a veteran thing that they might have, but it wasn't Steak and Shake. So, but that's so funny because we were there last year for Veterans Day. That is actually your Steak and Shake was the very first time I ever had Steak and Steak and Shake. Very first time.
Call me next time you're in town.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll do that 100%. I know my husband's like, yeah. So he's like, yeah, we love Steak and Shake.
Amen. Thanks, Jason. He says that Steak and Shake. Have you been to that one, Jason?
Yeah, he was with me the first time I had Steak and Shake. So
gosh.
Yeah. So my oldest Marine was visiting and he suggested Steak and Shake. And I was like, okay, we've never been. So yes, or at least I had never been. So it was our oldest Marine who had us go there. So see? And it's such a small world.
It is.
That's so crazy. And definitely not your plan.
No, there's more. So, Carolee, in 99, Carolee, I moved to Memphis, Tennessee.
Wait, seriously? Okay. keep talking, because I moved to Memphis in 2000.
Where?
Well, I lived in Collierville and worked in Memphis.
Where did
You kind of froze up there. Say that again.
Where did you work, or what did you do?
I was a warehouse supervisor.
Gotcha.
In an industrial area near it was a distribution center, but it was near like the big FedEx distribution center that was down there.
So in 99, I moved to Memphis to go to seminary. So I went to seminary to be in full-time ministry, and now I own a Steak and Shake. This was not my plan. So
I am loving this story. I absolutely am loving this.
9/11, that was 01. I remember I was taking a Hebrew test when that happened, and so I'm in seminary. Did you know or heard of Bellevue Baptist in Memphis?
Yes.
They call it like Six Flags Over Jesus. It's so big in Cordova. I mean, it's ginormous.
Yes.
Dr. Adrian Rogers was a pastor. So I go to seminary. I'm there. I get my master's, got my MDiv in 03. And then I moved to Murfreesboro to work at Middle Tennessee State University, doing Bible studies and different things for college students.
Okay.
Here. So I was on staff with Crew, a Christian organization at MTSU we moved here in 05. I graduated in 03. 05 to 2011, I'm working at MTSU.
Wow. I left
to college students.
I left Memphis in December of 2002.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's just so interesting. Who knows? We could have crossed paths a number of times.
You look kind of familiar. So, but what's interesting is that, remember I told you I didn't go to church at all growing up, but in 93, when I was 23, is when I gave my life to Christ and learned about forgiveness. And in the book that I wrote talks a lot about forgiveness, and that story's in there because we all deal with either needing to be forgiven or probably need to forgive someone else, letting go of that anger, bitterness. And so I'm at Steak and Shake, and there's just a lot of ministry opportunities there with employees and customers. So, I mean, I've been able to do a lot of neat things there. I walk around most of the time doing magic tricks for the kids and the adults. I do cook some, and I was able to do a funeral just the other day. A guy had been married over 60 years. Got to know them from coming to Steak and Shake. He's 88, and
Wow.
Just what's today?
Today is the 9th. No, Sunday.
Monday. So Sunday, last Thursday, just a few days ago, I was able to do the funeral service for Gary, for his wife. So I'm able to do a lot of neat things. Of course, doing ministry in a restaurant was not my plan, but here I am.
So what was it that made you say, I think I want to own a Steak and Shake?
So I found myself for a few years working at AT&T. And I'm like, I don't want to do this forever. So I found a place where I can make a lot of money, because that's what makes you happier, I thought. And so I bought a Cajun restaurant just between here and Nashville called J Gumbo's. And had you ever heard of it, Carolee?
I have not.
That was my problem. Nobody ever heard of it.
That could be an issue.
So I made no money for almost 2.5 years. It was terrible.
Goodness.
It was terrible. And I had to do something, Carolee. My 4 kids had this bad habit called eating. And
I know. We teach them to walk and talk, and then they still got to eat too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm depressed. I'm like a failure. I'm going broke. This place made no money. I lost ungodly amount of money. So I'm at a soccer banquet, and this guy said, "Hey, have you heard of Steak and Shake?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't hardly go. Only been a few times in like 14 years or something like that." And he said, "Man, you can buy one for 10 grand, but you work for free till you fix it." And at that time, they guaranteed 100,000 your first year.
Wow.
And to me, that sounded like $1 million. And I'm like, I'm not making any money anyway. So I sold my truck, gave Steak and Shake 10 grand. This is July 2019.
Oh, wow.
I worked, Carolee. So training was up in Hendersonville. I took my son's bunk bed mattress, put it in my mother-in-law's car, who you saw walking a little while ago. And I just slept in the car, got up in the morning, took a shower at Gold's Gym, and went and trained in Hendersonville, Steak and Shake.
Oh, goodness.
I did that just several times because coming late at night back home, get home late, you have to leave in the morning. Everybody's asleep. I'm like, why am I coming home? So I just slept in the car some. So
And then
Carolyn,
yeah, go ahead.
I worked for free for 8 months. I finally fixed everything. Tell me if this date means anything to you. March 20, my first day getting paid was March 25th, 2020.
They shut the country down.
The day after the dining room closed to COVID was my first day getting paid. This was not my plan.
I have to tell you, you have some of the best French fries. I absolutely love the shoestring French fries. Those are my all-time favorite. And the first time I went in and I saw those French fries, I was super excited because they're my favorite.
Did you hear what happened about a week ago?
No.
Have you ever heard of beef tallow?
Yes.
I never heard of it before last month. Now we're cooking all our fries, onion rings, and chicken tenders in beef tallow. So it's not healthy fries, it's just healthier.
We take what we can get. Right?
Yeah, so this is so all the Steak and Shakes now converted over to beef tallow. We got rid of the vegetable oil.
There you go. And did they taste better?
I can't tell the difference. I'll eat anything. But so a lot of people can say they can't tell a difference, and the fries are lighter, not as greasy. So a lot of people can tell the difference. So it's exciting.
Exciting. Now I definitely have to drop in because in truth, you're not far from me. So yeah, so Jason says they're going to taste way better.
All you can eat, Jason.
Woohoo! Yeah, we know where we're going, huh, honey? That is so funny. It's such a small world. And I am so excited that I've had the opportunity to have this conversation with you because just finding out how much in common we have is really incredible.
So several years ago, my dad, he's living up in DC. He comes down with Parkinson's.
Oh.
So we actually invite him to come and live with us. So my dad is now living with us and I'm taking care of him. And you got to think how big that is in light of everything that happened.
Yeah.
God's grace and mercy. So eventually I want to give a shout out to the Murfreesboro veteran nursing home. So I got my dad into there. It's a 5-star, top-notch facility. I mean, it's just amazing. And so I got my dad in there. He was there several years, and he passed away a few years ago. But the veterans nursing home in Murfreesboro is amazing.
Oh, that's really good to know.
I mean, it's incredible. It couldn't be any better.
Yeah, that's great information. So anybody in the chats watching now or in the future, that if you are in Tennessee, Murfreesboro Veterans Home is the place if you're looking for something similar to that. So
one of the things though, because you see veterans that everywhere and there's such a huge need, it was it took a lot of dynamic determination to get them in there. From my understanding, it really takes someone has to have an advocate helping them go through the process to get in. And yeah, it's, I mean, I had to put forth a lot of effort to make it happen. And so it's not like just, hey, can I have a room? So,
Right, right. So both time and money, because I'm going to assume with that he probably didn't have benefits for that.
I can't explain how it worked out, but he was able to stay there at no cost.
Oh, good, good. Well, that had to help the family.
Oh, obviously, yeah. So,
Yeah. So we've discussed your time abroad. We've discussed where you're at today. The next question, outside of the Murfreesboro Veterans Home, are you aware of or a part of any other veteran groups in your area?
we have there's a veterans, um, there's several different veteran groups, organizations here in Murfreesboro. And there's several different veteran meetups. Um, yeah.
Are you a part of the local VFW there?
I'm not.
No. I
need
if you
to go
haven't,
check it out. It's been a, yeah.
yeah, you should. There's the one that is right there on Broad Street. And it's right next to, oh, there's a bar. I can't think of it what that bar is called. Maybe Jason knows and he can put it in the chats. But I'm actually an auxiliary member, lifetime auxiliary member for the VFW. So, and it's really a good thing. It gives you that feeling, of camaraderie. It's a wonderful thing that I see for veterans. To MJ's, it's right next to MJ's. They're on Broad Street.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but yeah, so it's really for those looking for some camaraderie, and people that have served overseas, to come together and, like minds, like situations, etc. It's really good for them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that opportunity, feel free to check that out. Because especially, I do know that they do a lot in Murfreesboro. That particular VFW there does a lot for the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've partnered up with them before with helping out with some burgers or shakes. So I love being involved in the community. So
yes, and that's awesome. That's wonderful. So what would you say, what words of wisdom do you have for any person who is interested in joining the military?
what wisdom do I have for those wanting to join?
Yes.
I want to say do it for what wisdom? On the lighter note, it's if you're out of shape, it's going to take more than 1 mile to prep for basic training. Prepare well in advance.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah. Just prepare and have family, friends. We all love mail call, and that's when it does get a little tough, in the basic training, if you're not used to that kind of stuff. Mail call is very encouraging and beneficial to lift your spirits and get you through those.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get you through the difficult times.
I was going to say, one of the things I enjoy doing which we already know it's not cooking. But I enjoy speaking. I like taking my story of just growing up broke and realizing now, money doesn't make you happy. Not having any stinks, right? But then making money, being able to spend it and use it on other people. God's called us to be a steward. We don't own anything. God owns it all. And I enjoy speaking to different groups, taking my story of my upbringing, Desert Storm, seminary, Steak and Shake, and sharing that. So right now, as we speak, Carolee, it'll be launched next month, but I'm building out notmyplan.com.
No kidding.
Yeah. So here's the mission.
Okay.
You ready?
I am.
Helping people experience God when things don't go according to plan by sharing each other's stories.
Look at that.
Giving people hope and encouraging those in their faith. And so what's neat is what you're doing is you're helping people to share their stories and encouraging others, whether what faith they have, encouraging other people. So that's neat what you're doing.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck and the biggest success. I think anytime somebody takes that initiative, and in your case, continuing to serve, the citizens of this country, I think it's amazing, and kudos to you, and absolutely best wishes. So I think that's amazing.
I got a question, Carolee.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard of Operation Song?
I have.
So Operation Song, for those that don't know, they pair you up with a professional musician and help you create a song about whatever you want as a form of ministry, therapy, helping you. So I've also got a song out there, Carolee.
Do you? Oh.
You want to guess what it's called?
Well, it's not Steak and Shake. How about Not My Plan?
Mama and Me.
Oh, that's awesome. Now I'm going to have to go look, because I do know they always put them out there, of course, with your permission, on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if mine's on YouTube. I know it's Bandcamp, but I made this song. It was an amazing experience, Carolee. I drove up to Nashville. Less than 5 hours later, I'm driving home listening to my song.
That's amazing.
Then I gave it to my mom for Mother's Day.
I bet she loved it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'll have to send you the link so you can listen to it. But
yes, please do, because I have had actually. I think I had him on as a guest.
It's a neat organization.
I know I had another one similar to that. It's Warrior Rounds, and they do the same. Yeah. But that's wonderful. I can't imagine, just your mom hearing that song as well.
Wait till you hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But for veterans out there, it's and they're like, you can write about whatever you want. It's therapeutic, and it's really neat having a song out there that comes from your heart and whatever you want to share. So Operation Song, fantastic.
Excellent. Give me a second. I'm going to put that out there. Let's see. And that is a nonprofit organization too. So for those who are wondering, just to make sure you're all aware of that. So let's see. I'm going to post that on a banner. Sometimes I get too many banners. I've got so many out there. And it's like, oh, you have too many.
And next month, check out notmyplan.com. There's nothing on there yet. We're building it literally as we speak.
Let's see. There we go.
And when you come,
Okay.
Carolee, I'll give you a signed copy of my book with all the fries your husband can eat.
That's awesome.
Just for you, Jason.
Yeah. So I have Operation Song. We're gonna be staying in touch with you as well, Dave, because I want to see how things are going for you. I want to hear about notmyplan.org, how that's going, or excuse me, .com.
It's okay.
How that's going for you, and just be able to catch up, right? So, and I'm sure, without a doubt, we will be meeting face to face before too long. So, I'm really excited for that. So, if anybody in the chats has any questions for Dave, go ahead and put them in the comments for me, please. So, what do you hope to be? Where do you hope to be in the next 5 years, as far as with your life? What are you hoping to achieve?
What I'm working on now, my dream job, Carolee, is going and speaking to different groups. That's it.
That's awesome.
Giving hope and encouragement, because we all have trials, different things we go through, and if you don't have hope, you're dead in the water.
Absolutely right.
We all need more encouragement. So hope and encouragement, speaking to different groups. I love doing that, and so. Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute honor and a privilege to have you join me for a conversation tonight, and on such short notice. So thank you very much. I feel like, we have found a nice connection, and we'll be checking in for sure on that. But as I wrap this up, if you want to stay put for me,
Sure.
And let's see, double check, make sure we don't have any questions yet. I'm not seeing any. So make sure, for those of you who are out there in the chats and later, if you haven't already, be sure to, at the end of the show, give me a thumbs up on the channel and put a comment. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe and the notification bell so that you don't miss any veteran guests that I have and our conversations. Share it with your friends, veteran or otherwise. When we hit that 500 subscriber mark, we have several autographed books that are from veterans, as well as Dave's, that will be coming. So we're going to have that giveaway coming up as well. And additionally, once we hit that 500 mark, there's going to be something else special that I've got planned coming up. So we'll keep you in the loop, but we got to hit that 500 mark. So please, I'm really calling on everybody. Share it with your friends, your family, get them to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we're going to see you guys all again next Sunday, 6 o'clock. So again, thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody else, for joining tonight, and we'll see you again next week. Dave, stay put for me.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.